busy night of breaking news, and the words Happy New Year don't come easily for many Americans tonight. Hearts are heavy across the country, burdened by anguish and sorrow following the deadly terror attack on one of this country's most cherished locales overnight. The death toll in New Orleans, now at least 15 after a pickup truck carrying an ISIS flag drove straight into crowds gathered on Bourbon Street in the city's famous French Quarter, just hours into the new year. Along with the dead, dozens of people suffered injuries. The attacker, Shamsoud Din Jabbar, killed in an exchange of gunfire with police, was an American-born citizen and served 14 years in the military. Law enforcement officials are leaving open the possibility he was not solely responsible in the attack. The story continues to unfold tonight on several fronts. We begin our reporting from New Orleans with Tom Yamas. Tom, where do things stand at this moment?
Lester, good evening. Tonight I want to show our viewers how that alleged terrorist got onto Bourbon Street. He came up with his white pickup truck along this street, Canal Street. That's the entrance to Bourbon right there. He jumps the curb and gets over a police car and then heads down Bourbon Street, starting his killing spree. And tonight we've learned his truck wasn't his only weapon. He also had a firearm and an explosive device. In the opening hours of the new year, terror on the streets of New Orleans. Cell phone video capturing the scene of bodies sprawled out along the city's famed Bourbon Street. The wounded being treated while still laying in the road.
We're dealing with EMS right now. Right now, we're working in a triage area.
Video courtesy of EarthCam showing police racing towards the carnage where a driver plowed his pickup truck into the crowds in the historic French Quarter. In this video, you can see the truck getting around a police cruiser, blocking the entrance to Bourbon, then racing through the street packed with revelers, killing as many as 15 and injuring dozens of others.
He was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did.
Police say the suspect started his attack at 3:15 a.m. local, first using his car as a weapon, mowing people down at high speed on the 3 blocks between Canal and Conti Streets before crashing into a crane. He died in a shootout with police. This video capturing the sound of gunshots. 2 police officers were shot and injured.
The guy in the pickup truck just punched the gas and mowed over the barricade and hit a pedicab passengers. And there were just bodies and the screams. I mean, you can't think about, unhear that. It was chaos and very, very scary.
The FBI, the lead agency on the investigation, identified the suspect as 42-year-old Shamsoud Din Jabbar, a U.S. citizen from Texas, and they're still hunting additional potential co-conspirators.
We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible.
The FBI says Jabbar was driving a rented Ford pickup truck.
An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations.
The FBI says also found in the truck weapons and an improvised explosive device, plus 2 IEDs found elsewhere in the French Quarter were rendered safe.
After hitting the crowd, he exited the vehicle and fired upon local law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire, and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene.
According to Texas records, Jabbar had 2 misdemeanor charges in his past, one for theft and the other for driving with an invalid license. In a YouTube video posted 4 years ago, Jabbar identifies himself as a realtor and a Texas property manager.
I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston.
In the video, he says he spent 10 years in the military as a human resources and IT specialist. The U.S. Army confirmed he served in the regular Army and then the Army Reserves, saying Jabbar deployed to Afghanistan from February 2009 to January 2010 and ended his service at the rank of Staff Sergeant. President Biden today saying the FBI has been briefing him on the killer.
Mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he's inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill.
In New Orleans, Bourbon Street now an active crime scene with authorities searching for answers.
We need the public's help. We are asking if anybody has any interactions with Shamsoud Din Jabbar in the last 72 hours that you contact us. The FBI is asking the public's help.
All right, Tom, back with me from the scene in New Orleans. Tom, any sense of why this location for this attack?
You know, Lester, that's the big question tonight. It's still unclear why this alleged terrorist chose New Orleans on New Year's Day for his attack, but one thing is clear. This place was packed with people, not only the partygoers that were having a great time on Bourbon Street last night, celebrating New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, but also the Sugar Bowl that was scheduled for tonight. It's been postponed until tomorrow. That's going to be part of the investigation. Lester?
All right, Tom, thanks very much. And as details of the attack become more clear, there are new questions about physical security measures that the city was in the process of replacing when it all happened. Our Jesse Kirsch looks into what happened.
Hours after that bloody attack on Bourbon Street, tonight growing questions about the physical barriers used to secure the area. Devices known as bollards, typically short stainless steel posts, are often used in high-profile parts of cities and towns to help control crowds and vehicles. But early this morning on Bourbon Street, the bollards weren't there. New Orleans' mayor explained today that the system was in the midst of repairs.
Bollards were not up because they are near completion, with the expectation of being completed, of course, by Super Bowl.
The game set to be played in New Orleans next month. The superintendent of police says other barriers, like police vehicles and officers, were in place to secure Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve. But video shows how the attacker drove right around a patrol car.
So we did indeed have a plan, but the terrorist defeated it.
Anything that is currently in the midst of being repaired had a backup replacement for last night.
Vehicles and officers were there where all of those ballasts have been. We had that, we knew. So we did have it. And like I said, in this particular case, terrorists just went all the way around up onto the sidewalk.
Was someone getting up on a sidewalk considered impossible or nearly impossible, or was this not something you expected you would have to account for?
Yes, of course, it wasn't something we expected to account for.
New Orleans, the latest high-profile deadly ramming attack following the German Christmas market attack last month, the Berlin truck attack in 2016, and the one in Nice, France that same year. Jose Liris was visiting New Orleans and left the area just before the attack this morning.
The metal barricades were not up, just the standard plastic ones like you see there. There was police there at the entrance, a lot of police there, but the metal barricades were not up.
A city website showing what the new bollards may look like says the project is set to be completed next month. But a nationally televised college football playoff game is supposed to be played here tomorrow night. New Orleans City Council member Helena Moreno says the city is ready.
Do you think New Orleans can host a football game here this week safely?
I'm going to tell you this, that right now so many resources are being deployed down to the city of New Orleans that no doubt about it, we will host a safe game tomorrow. Everything from federal resources, state resources, additional intelligence, like you name it. It's like that's all happening.
Now, Jesse, let's talk a bit more about that game. You're there at the Superdome this evening. What security measures or additional security measures are you seeing?
You can see behind me police vehicles with their lights flashing. That's been the scene since this morning, but some things have changed. You see these hardened barricades along the curb? Earlier, they stopped back there, but tonight, Lester, they keep going to the end of the block.
All right, Jesse Kirsch, thank you. I spoke with Louisiana's Attorney General Liz Murrill a short time ago, and I began by asking if there was an active manhunt still underway.
Well, there certainly is continuing to be an active investigation so that we can identify just how many additional individuals were involved. But I can tell you with some certainty that there are multiple individuals who are involved.
There has been some reporting that there may have been individuals who were handling or placing IEDs, explosive devices. Can you confirm that?
Yes, and there was a house fire in New Orleans this morning that was connected to this event where we believe the IEDs were being made.
So you have a location where you believe the IEDs were being manufactured?
We do. It was an Airbnb, so we know that these individuals had rented the house, were using it for that purpose, and then the other events unfolded early this morning.
Under the circumstances, there might be others out there. Is it wise to go forward with the football game, the Sugar Bowl, even a day later?
You know, not my decision, but I would like to see it delayed at least another day. If they asked my opinion, I would tell them that. I think that it was a wise decision to delay it at least a day. This is an active crime scene, and, you know, they just finished removing some of the bodies, and they still haven't removed all of them. I still think that we probably need to wait an extra day.
Is there a further threat to the community?
No, I believe that the community is safe, and there certainly are a lot of there's a huge law enforcement presence here in New Orleans. I believe that everyone is safe, and the governor plans to attend the football game.